To be perfectly honest, there's very few boxing trainers who I actually enjoy listening to or whose interviews I enjoy watching, because some of them are not very articulate. Some of them are unable to be objective, and they function as not just trainers, but also propaganda mouthpieces for their fighters. And others just don't have a very high boxing IQ, quite frankly. But of the few boxing trainers who I do enjoy listening to, Peter Fury is one of them. When Peter Fury was training his nephew Tyson, he was the only guy in that camp who you could rely on to be real and objective and no nonsense. Because Tyson and his dad John are into a lot of theatricality, whereas Peter was more of a straight shooter. And he was able to be objective, not just when talking about his nephew and fighter at the time, Tyson, but even when talking about Tyson's rivals. So I really valued that about Peter Fury, that he wasn't given to all the hype and nonsense. He would keep it real, give credit where it was due, irrespective of who he was talking about. So I always rated that, and I've always rated Peter Fury's boxing IQ. The first time I ever saw Peter Fury interviewed, I thought this guy knows his boxing, and I said so at the time when I spoke about it in a video on my channel. Now, some people are going to say Peter Fury is not that good a trainer. What's he done since he split up with Tyson Fury? Well, a trainer is only as good as the talent that he has, to be perfectly honest with you. You could be the greatest trainer in the world, but if you're given somebody who isn't amazingly talented, then you're limited in terms of what you can do. And also, it's a numbers game. The more fighters you have come through your gym, the more talent you have come through your gym, the better the chances, even if you're the greatest trainer in the world, the better the chances you're going to find someone who you can work with and make them successful. So that's what I'll say about Peter Fury. I've always valued his views and opinions. I think he's got a brilliant boxing mind. I'm not saying that his boxing style that he teaches is invincible and it is the best style ever. Obviously not. There is no such style. But generally speaking, Peter Fury, in my mind, is one of the top brains in boxing and a great interview every time. So whenever I see a Peter Fury video pop up, I'm quick to click on it. But another boxing trainer of the few who I actually enjoy listening to is Shane Mcguigan. Mcguigan, I don't think he's quite as objective as Peter Fury, but he's not too far off. He's very bright. He's a forward-thinking trainer. He understands the game. He understands the psychology of fighters, tactics, all this kind of stuff. And so I'm very interested to hear his views and opinions on fighters, not only in his stable and fighters who may face people who he trains, but also other fighters out there who he has nothing to do with. Very interested to hear Shane Mcguigan's take on those fighters. And in this particular instance, in this interview, Shane Mcguigan is talking about the apparent top three in the heavyweight division. I say apparent because, and you know, we're talking about Joshua, Wilder and Fury here, but who knows? There might be somebody outside of that top three who ends up becoming the best of this era. We won't know until a few years down the line. But the apparent top three, Joshua, Wilder and Fury, he gives his view on who he thinks is the best out of that top three. And it's very similar to something I have said a long time ago in several videos. Now, I don't know who's the best out of Joshua, Wilder and Fury, but several years ago I said that if I was absolutely pushed to make a prediction about who beats who in that trio, I would say AJ beats Fury, Fury beats Wilder, and Wilder beats AJ. Could be wrong because there are lots of unanswered questions about all those three. They've all got very different styles. So who knows? Maybe one of them will dominate the other two. Hopefully they all fight each other and we can find out. We won't have to speculate. But Shane Mcguigan appears to share the very same view as me. He thinks that AJ's style will beat Fury. He's a lot more confident than I am that AJ will beat Fury. I personally think AJ's style will give Fury nightmares. Even if Fury manages to win, I still think that is just a nightmare style for Tyson Fury. Now, some people are going to say, oh, AJ's robotic, he can be outboxed. You know, AJ is not Vladimir Klitschko. He's not a guy who's just going to stay on the outside and doesn't have the ability to come inside and put it on you. He does have the ability to come inside and put it on you. Now, obviously backfired in the first Andy Ruiz fight, but it worked in many other fights. That's how he won the Klitschko fight, was coming on the inside and putting it on Klitschko. That's how Anthony Joshua won several fights in the amateurs. Have you seen Anthony Joshua versus Ivan Ditchko in the Olympics? That was one of his best wins. Ivan Ditchko, a big, tall guy, same kind of dimensions as Tyson Fury. Anthony Joshua attacks him, goes on the inside, and gives Ivan Ditchko more than he can handle. Of course, we know that Anthony Joshua sparred Tyson Fury when AJ was just a novice amateur and Tyson Fury was British champion as a pro. And in Tyson Fury's own words, AJ beat him up. Not my words, Tyson Fury's words. AJ is not a guy who's just going to stand on the outside and let Fury jab, jab, jab. No, he's going to move forward. And unlike Deontay Wilder, AJ's not one-handed. AJ's got better balance than Wilder. He doesn't have the dynamic long-range right hand that Wilder's got, but he's more versatile and he's got more tools in his toolkit. He's got a great uppercut. He's got a great left hook. His right hand is no joke either. He's more balanced than Deontay Wilder, and when he attacks and comes forward, he's more neat and tidy. I'm skeptical about whether Tyson Fury has enough to keep AJ off of him. I'm talking about enough punching power. Now, some people will say that Andy Ruiz wasn't a big puncher and he knocked Anthony Joshua out, and a lot of people are just writing Anthony Joshua off altogether against the very top heavyweights because of his chin, or mainly because of his chin. But these people are just exposing their lack of boxing knowledge once again. Because Anthony Joshua has already beaten people who hit harder than Andy Ruiz. Have people forgotten this? He did beat Klitschko, you know. He did beat Dylan White. He did beat Povetkin, all of whom arguably hit much harder than Andy Ruiz. And as I've pointed out previously, Lennox Lewis was knocked out by Oliver McCall and Hasim Rahman, but yet he beat many fighters in his career who hit harder than those two. So it's not as simple as some people are making it out to be. And I think we will see the aggressive AJ again in the future. I think AJ knows that boxing the way he did against Ruiz is not going to get it done against every opponent. He's going to have to switch up his style for particular fighters. And against Tyson Fury, I think AJ knows he would have to be aggressive. He remembers what that sparring session was like, and he remembers some of Tyson Fury's fights against other people. The Otto Wallin fight wasn't a million years ago, people. Now, Tyson Fury was hampered by the cut, and I don't think he felt threatened enough in the Otto Wallin fight to really perform to the best of his ability. But nonetheless, I don't think it was all just down to that. I also think that Otto Wallin did certain things tactically and stylistically, which made it uncomfortable for Tyson Fury, by way of coming forward and attacking in a particular way. I mean, even prior to the cut, what was the cut caused by? An Otto Wallin left hand. How was he able to land that shot? You know, Deontay Wilder, as good a puncher as he is, he struggles with his coordination. That's why he doesn't throw his right hand a lot. He likes to wait and wait and wait and wait for the perfect moment when his opponent is stationary enough for him to be able to let that right hand go and land it accurately. Because earlier on in his career, he used to throw the right hand a lot more and he used to miss a hell of a lot. Now he waits and waits and waits, and he knows that if he throws it in certain situations, he's going to miss and he's going to be off balance. So he waits for the perfect moment. Whereas AJ and even Otto Wallin people have got better balance a lot of the time than Deontay Wilder. He's certainly not as good a fighter as Wilder, don't get it twisted. But he's better balanced, not as wild. And when he attacked Tyson Fury, he was able to get success. Obviously didn't win the fight, but was able to have success in there. And I'm telling you now, Anthony Joshua is way better on the front foot than Otto Wallin. When he attacks Tyson Fury, in a similar way to how he attacked Ivan Ditchko, or in spots against Vladimir Klitschko, I think Fury's going to have a real tough time dealing with that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be enough to beat Fury, but I think Fury's going to have a real tough time dealing with it. And if I was pushed, I would say AJ will probably beat him. We're using that style that we know he has, or we know he can revert to going forward. At the same time, Tyson Fury's style, I think, is a nightmare for Deontay Wilder. We saw that in the first fight. And if Fury sticks to what he's best at, which is being slick, evasive, moving around, just like we saw against Vladimir Klitschko, I think he should win the Wilder rematch, to be honest with you, if he sticks to those tactics. If he's still the same guy. Yeah, if he elects to switch it up and try and be a puncher, he'll probably get ironed out. But if he sticks to what he's, done well in the past, I think he should beat Wilder in a rematch. And then we come to Wilder versus AJ. Look, maybe AJ can beat him. I'm certainly not counting AJ out. For me, it's like 51-49 in Wilder's favor in my head. But if I was absolutely pushed to make a prediction on that one, I would probably pick Wilder. But who knows? It's all just speculation at this point. But Shane Mcguigan clearly understands, that styles make fights. Which is why he thinks AJ beats Fury, Fury beats Wilder, but Wilder beats AJ. This is a professional boxing coach, grew up in a boxing family. His dad was a famous fighter. He understands this dynamic. A lot of the casuals out there, they don't understand the whole styles make fights thing. They still believe that their fighter is just going to beat everybody. And there's no one out there who can beat him. Loads of the Wilder casuals believe this. Loads of the Fury casuals believe this. It's incredible, given what's happened in both their careers. Deontay Wilder was dropped early in his career by Harold Sconias. He got a draw against Tyson Fury, who was coming off a long layoff and being in terrible physical and mental condition. And Wilder came within a whisker of losing that fight. Wilder was outboxed for many, many rounds against people like Artur Szpilka. So the idea that this guy is invincible is insane. Wilder hasn't fought even a fraction of the top talent which is currently in the division. But yet these people are like, oh, nobody can beat. See, these are casuals who don't know boxing, or some of them who have been around a long time and do know a bit about boxing are just so overwhelmingly biased that they're making decisions and saying things with their heart and not their head. They're letting their heart rule their head. Same thing with Tyson Fury. I mean, he's been on the floor multiple times in his career. He's always got up to either win or draw, but nonetheless, he's been down many times. The idea that every time he's going to be able to get up and go on to victory, I mean, how realistic is that? Again, Tyson Fury hasn't fought but a fraction of the top fighters in the division right now. He hasn't fought certain styles. Neither has Deontay Wilder. There are certain styles out there that neither one of those guys has fought. I mean, Tyson Fury recently was saying he's not interested in a fight against Alexander Usyk. And I was saying in recent videos that I'd like to see Fury against Usyk because that will be the first time that Fury's fought a mover for a very long time. Not since Steve Cunningham has he fought a mover. A small heavyweight who's well coordinated and fast. I'd like to see how Tyson Fury would deal with that. Well, Tyson Fury says he's not interested. What does that tell you? I think it tells you more than you think it does. So, yeah, Shane Mcguigan, excellent interview as always, understands that styles make fights, and there will be no one dominant heavyweight who's just going to beat everybody. No. There might be one heavyweight who cherry picks his way through the division, avoids certain fights, and then convinces his gullible fans that he's the number one and everybody should hail him as such. But if all these heavyweights actually fight each other and they fight most of the top contenders, nobody is escaping this current heavyweight era with their O intact. Nobody. They're all going to catch L's. And it won't just be to the fighters who you think they would catch L's to. We've seen it already with Joshua. Don't count it out happening to Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury as well. And I was saying this a long time before AJ lost to Ruiz. Facts. Been saying it on my channel for ages. Right? So this is not any kind of revisionism here. I've been saying this consistently for a long time. That all the top three are going to lose, not necessarily to each other. And that's not necessarily what Shane Mcguigan is saying here, but he understands that there probably won't be one dominant guy out of those three who's going to beat the other two. It will probably be more like a rock, paper, scissors situation. So check out the interview. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.